All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils national logistics policy that seeks to bring down logistics costs for businesses to single digit. Prime Minister says India is giving message to the world that economy and ecology are not conflicting fields. India creates new world record of maximum number of blood donations in a single day. President Draupadi Murmu arrives in London to attend Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to embark on an 11-day visit to US today. CBDT makes some offences under Income Tax Act compoundable. CBI moves Delhi court seeking cancellation of Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav's bail in IRCTC scam case. Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan remanded to police custody in Delhi Waqf Board corruption case. Andaman and Nicobar Islands declared India's first Swachh Sujal Pradesh. At least 17 people killed in landslides triggered by heavy rain in western Nepal. And Devendra Jhajharia clinches silver medal in javelin throw at World Para Athletics Grand Prix in Morocco. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has unveiled the national logistics policy that seeks to address challenges facing the transport sector and bring down the logistics cost of businesses to a single digit. Rolling out the policy at a function in New Delhi, Mr. Modi said it is a significant step in the direction of India becoming a developed country.
ये जो बदलाव है वो अभूतपूर्व परिणाम लाने वाला है और अगर एक साल के बाद इसका इवोल्यूशन करेंगे तो आप स्वयं भी विश्वास करेंगे कि हाँ हमने तो सोचा नहीं था यहाँ से यहाँ तक पहुंच गए। देखिए 13-14% की लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट के लेवल को हमें जल्द से जल्द हम सब ने मिल करके उसको सिंगल डिजिट में लाने का लक्ष्य रखना ही चाहिए। अगर हमें ग्लोबली कॉम्पिटिटिव होना है हमारे एफर्ट्स मात्र से एफिशिएंसी मात्र से कुछ नियमों का पालन करने मात्र से हम 13-14% से सिंगल डिजिट में आ सकते हैं जी।
The Prime Minister said the national logistics policy is aimed at bringing down the cost of transportation of industrial products and time consumed. He said it will also prevent damage to agricultural products by providing faster transportation. Mr. Modi said various road projects such as Bharatmala and Sagarmala were launched by him after becoming the Prime Minister to improve connectivity. He said speeding up the work of the dedicated freight corridor is also a move in that direction. Mr. Modi said the Unified Logistics Interface platform will bring all digital services related to the transportation sector into a single portal, freeing the exporters from a host of very long and cumbersome processes. Similarly, under the policy, a new digital platform, Ease of Logistics Services, has also been started.
ईज ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक सर्विसेज ई-लॉग्स नाम से भी एक डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म भी शुरू हुआ है। इस पोर्टल के माध्यम से इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशंस ऐसे किसी भी मामले को जिससे उनके ऑपरेशंस और परफॉर्मेंस में समस्या आ रही है उसे सीधे सरकारी एजेंसी के साथ उठा सकती हैं। यानी बहुत ही ट्रांसपेरेंट वे में विदाउट एनी हर्डल सरकार के दरवाजे तक आपको पहुंचाने की व्यवस्था बन गई है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India of the 21st century is giving a message to the world that economy and ecology are not conflicting fields. He said India is a living and breathing example that economic progress of the country can take place along with protecting the environment. Mr. Modi said, on one hand, we are included among the fastest growing economies of the world and at the same time the forest areas of the country are expanding rapidly. The Prime Minister was speaking after releasing cheetahs at the Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh yesterday.
पर्यावरण की रक्षा के साथ ही देश की प्रगति भी हो सकती है ये भारत ने दुनिया को करके दिखाया है। आज एक और हम विश्व की तेजी से बढ़ती अर्थव्यवस्था में शामिल है तो साथ ही देश के वन क्षेत्रों का विस्तार भी तेजी से हो रहा है। प्रकृति और पर्यावरण, पशु और पक्षी भारत के लिए एक केवल सस्टेनेबिलिटी और सिक्योरिटी के विषय ही सिर्फ है, ऐसा नहीं है। हमारे लिए ये हमारी सेंसिबिलिटी और स्पिरिचुअलिटी का भी आधार है।
The Prime Minister said the sprint of cheetahs is a symbol of India's race for progress in Azadi Ka Amrit Kaal.
India scripted a new world record of maximum number of blood donations in a single day yesterday on the occasion of the 72nd birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi under Raktadaan Amrit Mahotsav. This was the largest countrywide blood donation drive. Over 90,000 donors donated blood in over 6,000 approved camps. The campaign was aimed at increasing awareness regarding regular, non-remunerated, voluntary blood donations and to ensure that blood or its components are available, accessible, affordable and safe. As per statistics of 2021, India's annual requirement is around 1 crore 50 lakh units. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has thanked everyone who wished him on his birthday and said those wishes give him strength to work even harder. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said he is humbled by the affection received. He lauded all those people who have devoted this day to various community service initiatives and said their resolve is commendable. In another tweet, the Prime Minister wrote that he spent the day attending programs that cover our economy, society and the environment. Prime Minister Modi said he truly believes that when we collectively work on these spheres, we will fulfill our goal of sustainable and inclusive development.
The Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, has issued revised guidelines for compounding of offences under the Income Tax Act 1961. The CBDT has taken this step in conformity with the government's policy of facilitating ease of doing business and decriminalisation of offences. Some of the major changes made for the benefit of taxpayers include making offence punishable under Section 276 of the Act as compoundable. The scope of eligibility for compounding of cases has been relaxed where case of an applicant who has been convicted with imprisonment for less than 2 years, being previously non-compoundable, has now been made compoundable. The discretion available with the competent authority has also been suitably restricted. Procedural complexities have also been simplified. The Central Bureau of Investigation has moved a Delhi court seeking cancellation of Bihar Deputy Chief Minister and Rashtriya Janata Dal leader Tejasvi Yadav's bail in IRCTC scam case. Following this, Special Judge Gitanjali Goyal has issued notice to Tejasvi Yadav on the CBI's plea and sought his response in the matter by 28th of September. In its application, the probe agency said that in a recent press conference, Tejasvi attempted to subvert the process of law and thwart the entire investigation as well as the consequent trial and blatantly abused the liberty granted to him.
A Delhi court has sent Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan to 4 days police custody in the Delhi Waqf Board corruption case. The anti-corruption branch of Delhi police had arrested Khan for his involvement in alleged irregularities, including financial misappropriation at the Delhi Waqf Board. Okhla MLA Amanatullah Khan is the chairperson of the Waqf Board. Special Judge Vikas Dhul said Khan's bail application will be considered after the end of his 4-day custody by the ACB. On Friday, the ACB had arrested Khan after conducting raids at 4 locations across Delhi, during which it recovered around 24 lakh rupees in cash and 2 unlicensed weapons along with ammunition.
In Morning Matters, now let us listen to a discussion on wildlife conservation in India. The participants are Mukul Sanwal, environmentalist, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi assured cheetahs which have been imported from Namibia in the Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Sanwal, how do you think this is a great step for conservation not only of wildlife but also of flora and fauna in the country?
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's physical presence in the release of the cheetah has great significance because so far we have been thinking of wildlife conservation in terms of species. We have declared national parks, but the direct involvement of the Prime Minister in an activity of this kind, to reintroduce the cheetah in India, I think is symbolic for a number of reasons. Firstly, it shows highest political commitment towards conservation. It also establishes that species that have become extinct, we need to put full effort to reintroduce them, and by implication, the species that are endangered, like the tiger, the lion and the elephant, rhinoceros, need to be given protection. So the signal would also be Forest Department. And remember that forestry conservation is a concurrent subject both for the national and the state level. Now, we to also see that the efforts that have been made in the past are being given a new direction now. At the time of the Maharajas, British colonial rulers, the Forest Department was primarily involved in commercial activity. That is, timber to be sold for railway sleepers or other activities, and hunting of animals. Gradually that has changed, and the foresters became more involved with conservation of trees and animals.
What sort of a dimensional change do you see that in the last 8 years the government of India has done for better conservation of the wildlife and forest?
See, you have raised a very important point. Traditionally, we rely on statistics, and the statistics are important. But the big change has been in terms of quality of protection. It is not just a physical counting of areas, of number of animals, but the qualitative change that has taken place, and I think Kuno signifies that, of linking the various activities that either impact negatively or positively, and taking a holistic view of the whole of conservation, I think is new. I'm not saying that this was not happening earlier, but it was not happening in the manner in which it is happening now. And the fact that it is being monitored, the fact that there is the highest level political commitment, and the fact that we are linking it up more actively with controlled tourism, I think is important, because without that, it has been found that it is difficult to preserve these kind of habitats or these species. That is the experience of Africa. That is our own experience in places like the Corbett National Park. That controlled tourism activity is the best form of protection, and expanding that to all the national parks in a wider form, I think, is a major qualitative change and contribution of Prime Minister.
Mr. Samwal, in India we have seen that the forest cover has also increased by about 16,000 square kilometers in the past few years as per the Forest Survey of India report. This is a significant increase in the forest cover. So on this aspect of the forest cover, how do you think that this paradigm change has happened?
The big paradigm change is that we are now using satellite imagery on a more regular basis than in the past. We have also extended technology in the GIS format and other technologies to get more precise and accurate monitoring. The third thing is that we have extended this concept to urban areas. Earlier, the idea was that there is a vast open tract where very few people live, away from cities, and that would be declared as a forest reserve. Now this big paradigm shift has been that it is not just protecting the traditional areas which were declared as forest, and where we had the Forest Department looking after these basically trees and animals, but that we should change the definition of forest itself and start looking at concentrations of trees. Because the idea is not a territorial concept of looking after a particular area demarcated on the ground, but we must have vegetation in a more organized manner. And that is a major shift, because then the urban or municipal areas are also becoming conscious of tree cover. And as urbanization grows, this is going to be a more increasing trend of rural populations shifting to cities. So it was time that the cities themselves started becoming conscious of conservation, of trees, of water, and wildlife and habitat. This paradigm shift owes a lot to Prime Minister Modi.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Samwal, to be with us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on the wildlife conservation in India. The participants were Mukul Sanwal, environmentalist, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils national logistics policy that seeks to bring down logistics costs for businesses to single digit. Prime Minister says India is giving message to the world that economy and ecology are not conflicting fields. India creates new world record of maximum number of blood donations in a single day. President Draupadi Murmu arrives in London to attend Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to embark on an 11-day visit to US today. CBDT makes some offences under Income Tax Act compoundable. CBI moves Delhi court seeking cancellation of Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Tejashwi Yadav's bail in IRCTC scam case. Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan remanded to police custody in Delhi Waqf Board corruption case. Andaman and Nicobar Islands declared India's first Swachh Sujal Pradesh. At least 11 people killed in landslides triggered by heavy rain in western Nepal, and Devendra Jhajharia clinches silver medal in javelin throw at World Para-Athletics Grand Prix in Morocco. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
न्यू इंडिया समाचार, नए भारत का संकल्प, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास। समाज में गरीब और कमजोर तबकों के लिए सरकार की चल रही कल्याणकारी योजनाओं और कार्यक्रमों से जुड़ी जानकारी पाएं। सरकार के इन कदमों के बारे में जानें और लाभ उठाएं। आकाशवाणी पर अब सुनिए जन कल्याण के सरोकार दोपहर 3 बजे से हर शनिवार। सुनिए न्यू इंडिया समाचार आकाशवाणी के साथ।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news on All India Radio. President Draupadi Murmu has arrived in London to attend the state funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II and offer condolences on behalf of the Government of India. President Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed condolences at the demise of the Queen. India also observed a day of national mourning on 11th of September. External Affairs Ministry said that in the 70 years of the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, India-UK ties have evolved, flourished and strengthened immensely. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will visit the United States starting today till the 28th of September to participate in the 77th session of the UN General Assembly. During his visit to New York on the first leg of his tour, he will lead the India delegation for the High-Level Week at the General Assembly. Dr. Jaishankar will address the high-level session of the UN General Assembly on the 24th of September. The theme of the 77th UNGA is a watershed moment, transformative solutions to interlocking challenges. In keeping with India's strong commitment to reformed multilateralism, the minister will host a ministerial meeting of the G4, India, Brazil, Japan and Germany, as well as participate at the high-level meeting of the L69 group on reinvigorating multilateralism and achieving comprehensive reform of the UN Security Council. The L69 group consists of developing countries from Asia, Africa, Latin America, Caribbean and small island developing states focused on reforms of the UN Security Council. Our correspondent has filed this report.
To commemorate and showcase Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the External Affairs Minister will address a special event, India at 75, showcasing India-UN partnership in action on 24th September. The event will highlight India's development journey and its contributions to South-South cooperation. It is expected to be addressed by the President of the 77th United Nations General Assembly, along with foreign ministers of several member states and the United Nations Development Program Administrator. The minister would also be participating in plurilateral meetings of the Quad, IBSA, BRICS and other trilateral formats. These include India-France-Australia, India-France-UAE and India-Indonesia-Australia. He will also have bilateral meetings with foreign ministers of the G20 and UNFC member states. Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
Dr. Jaishankar will visit Washington, D.C. from the 25th to the 28th of September for bilateral meetings with U.S. interlocutors.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will be on a 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia starting today to co-chair the inaugural ministerial meeting on the Economic and Investments Committee with Saudi Arabia's Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman. The two ministers are expected to discuss the progress made under various joint working groups on the Economic and Investment Committee. Both sides are also expected to formulate plan of action for further strengthening bilateral cooperation in priority areas and projects, including the West Coast Refinery Project, Trans-Ocean Grid Connectivity, green energy, green hydrogen, food security, energy security, and pharmaceuticals. Our correspondent reports that Mr. Goyal's visit to Saudi Arabia will add further impetus to the dynamic and ever-growing strategic partnership between the two countries. In Nepal, at least 17 people have been killed in landslides triggered by heavy rain in the western part of the country. The landslides occurred in different parts of the Acham district of Sudur Paschim province, which has been badly affected by floods caused by incessant rainfall for the past few days. 11 people who sustained injuries in the incidents were airlifted to the Surkhet district for treatment. 3 persons are reported missing following landslides.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed anguish over the loss of lives in a bus accident in Hazaribagh district of Jharkhand. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has also expressed grief on the loss of lives of 7 people in the accident. He also shared his thoughts for a speedy recovery of the injured people. 7 people died and more than 45 people were injured as a bus carrying passengers from Giridih fell off the bridge in Sivani River on Hazaribagh Tati Jharia Road yesterday evening. Union Minister of Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has declared Andaman and Nicobar Islands as India's first Swachh Sujal Pradesh. He handed over the certificate to Lieutenant Governor Admiral D.K. Joshi. We have a report from our correspondent.
Now all villages have been certified as Har Ghar Jal and verified as ODF+. Addressing the occasion, Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat congratulated all the islanders for this major achievement and highlighted people's participation to complete this journey. He added that being a remotely located group of islands away from the mainland, the achievement will prove to be a source of inspiration for the rest of the states and UTs. This is the best gift for PM Narendra Modi on his birthday. He stated now the country is moving toward fulfilling the aim of Sampurna Swachhta. Under the able leadership of PM Narendra Modi, the Union government is widely focused on sanitation and availability of clean and safe drinking water in the last few years. Gaurav Patwal, AIR News, Port Blair.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for crores of people across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashwani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio. In today's episode, we will bring you the story of reorganization of Northeast Frontier Agency and the Seven Sisters.
After independence, Northeastern Frontier Tract, NEFT, was brought under the 6th schedule of Indian Constitution. It was renamed as Northeast Frontier Agency, NEFA, in 1954. NEFA was renamed as Arunachal Pradesh on the 20th January 1972 and became a union territory with a legislature. Arunachal Pradesh became a state on the 20th February 1987. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserted that the centre is bent upon making Arunachal Pradesh a major gateway to Southeast Asia. Since 2014, under PM Modi's leadership, unprecedented work has been done to speed up Arunachal's development.
50 वर्ष पूर्व नेफा को अरुणाचल प्रदेश के रूप में नया नाम, नई पहचान मिली थी। उगते सूरज की इस पहचान को, इस नई ऊर्जा को इन 50 वर्षों में आप सभी परिश्रमी राष्ट्रभक्त बहनों भाइयों ने निरंतर सशक्त किया। अरुणाचल की इसी भव्यता को देखते हुए 5 दशक पहले भारत रत्न डॉक्टर भूपेन हजारिका जी ने अरुणाचल हमारा नाम से गीत लिखा था।
अरुण किरण शीश भूषण कंठ इनकी धारा, अरुण किरण शीश भूषण कंठ इनकी धारा, प्रभात सूरज चुंबी प्रदेश अरुणाचल हमारा, अरुणाचल हमारा।
राष्ट्रभक्ति और सामाजिक सद्भाव की जिस भावना को अरुणाचल प्रदेश ने नई ऊंचाई दी है, अपनी सांस्कृतिक विरासत को जिस प्रकार आपने संजोया संवारा है, परंपरा और प्रगति को जिस प्रकार आप साथ साथ लेकर चल रहे हैं, वो पूरे देश के लिए प्रेरणा है। एंग्लो आबो युद्ध हो या फिर आजादी के बाद सीमा की सुरक्षा, अरुणाचल वासियों की वीरता की गाथाएं प्रत्येक भारतवासी के लिए अनमोल विरासत है।
Northeastern region consists of 7 sisters and Sikkim. The 7 sisters are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland and Tripura. Sikkim was integrated as the 8th Northeastern Council state in 2002. From having the cleanest village in Asia to India's oldest oil refinery and India's largest monastery, Northeast has everything. Under the present government, 360-degree rapid development is being witnessed in all spheres of life in the Northeast.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune into AIR News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke saath.
On to sports. Indian javelin thrower Devendra Jhajharia has clinched a silver medal in the World Para-Athletics Grand Prix in Morocco. Paralympics gold medalist Devendra threw the javelin to a distance of 60.97 meters to capture the silver. Devendra is a 3-time Paralympics medalist. Now let us have a look at the weather across the country today. National capital Delhi will have partly cloudy sky. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Leh and Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. As cheetahs return to India after 70 years, a Hindustan Times headline writes 8 cheetahs set free in Kuno as PM hails boost to wildlife. The Sunday Pioneer reports 87,000 donate blood on PM's birthday, setting a world record. The Economic Times cites on-campus hiring at NIT takes a momentous leap with higher average salaries and strong placements. Asking citizens to lend a hand, the Indian Express mentions the government to adopt a TB patient and make a difference. For the second time in 2 months, India backs Ukraine on virtual UN talk, notes the Times of India. The same paper writes about Delhi LG laying foundation for an integrated multi-sports arena under the headline International Level Stadium to come up in Dwarka. And finally, startup to take movies to Kashmir. The Hindu writes about culture and cinema all set to receive a big push in the Kashmir Valley as Chennai-based entertainment startup Jadus is opening 2 mini theatres in Pulwama and Shopian today after 30 years.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils national logistics policy that seeks to bring down logistics costs for businesses to single digit. Prime Minister says India is giving message to the world that economy and ecology are not conflicting fields. India creates new world record of maximum number of blood donations in a single day. President Draupadi Murmu arrives in London to attend Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to embark on an 11-day visit to US today. CBDT makes some offences under Income Tax Act compoundable. Andaman and Nicobar Islands declared India's first Swachh Sujal Pradesh. At least 17 people killed in landslides triggered by heavy rain in western Nepal. And Devendra Jhajharia clinches silver medal in javelin throw at World Para-Athletics Grand Prix in Morocco. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.